Hi, welcome to episode 174 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and we have a Ravelry group also called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and if you haven't come and joined us, please do. So hello, how are you? It is Sunday, March 11th. It is nippy here in Kansas. It's down to right around 40 degrees today. We are not frozen, but we are definitely a little chilly today, and it's been kind of chilly on and off this week. Tuesday was crazy weather. It was windy, it snowed sideways, it was sunny, it was like every weather all in one. So that is what the weather has been doing here. It has been a pretty good week. I've gotten lots of crafting done, and I'm trying to think of anything else super exciting. The one exciting thing that happened this week is I am going to be 40 in May, and Wes told me this weekend that my birthday present was tickets to see Hamilton. We are going to be in Chicago in May, and he got us tickets for when we're there. So that was kind of exciting. I'm super, super excited. I've been wanting to see it forever. And it seems like a great 40th birthday present. My husband actually is not very into musicals, so it was even nicer because given his choice, he probably wouldn't go. But he got us tickets for a matinee while we're there. So we'll get to see the kids and hang around Chicago and go see the show. So that is what's going on here. I hope that you have had a wonderful week. If this is your first time tuning in, this will be a fairly typical show today, so this was a good one to drop in on, and if you are returning, thanks for coming back. I will go through my usual segments, which are tea, knitting, spinning. We have a question from a viewer, and we have the drawing for a beautiful project bag from Knit and Stitch Bits, which I showed last week. I will do that towards the end of the show. So let's get settled in for another show. Today's tea is Harney & Sons Blueberry Green, which is exactly what it sounds like. There is no list of ingredients on here. It's a pretty tea, so I bought it in a tin. This is what the tin looks like. And then let's see if I can show you the tea without dumping it everywhere. It smells delicious, and it is green, and then it's also got some blue flowers in it. So I'll have to go check out the, I think I reviewed this tea a while back, so I will put a link to the review in the show notes so you can see what else, and there I would have listed the ingredients. But like I said, that's Harney & Sons Blueberry Green Tea. And I am drinking that today, even though it's not chocolate, I am drinking that today in my Hershey's mug that I got when we went through Pennsylvania this last year. So this one is a light green tea with some sweet blueberry. I always like to put a little bit of sweetener in it. And it is just a really delightful afternoon tea. I think it would also be great iced. Maybe I will try that as the spring and summer come closer, but not today because it's chilly. So let's get to the knits. I have one finished object for this week. This is the lowbrow cowl that I was working on. The pattern is by Tao Nguyen, who is Nerdbird Makery, I think. And she is also the one responsible for quite a few of the t-shirts that I've worn. Someone asked about that a few weeks ago. It was the shirt that said "Nevertheless She Knitted." That came from Nerdbird Makery as well. You can check out her website, and the pattern is available. It is a paid pattern on Ravelry. I used US size 7 needles, and I used some yarn that my boss had gotten me from his trip to Australia. The information that I had about it was that it was Polworth and it was 200 grams. I guessed it was around 400 yards, and I think I guessed roughly correctly. I had to finish the pattern. It looks like maybe 3 or 4 rows short. I don't think it really matters, but that is my lowbrow cowl. So it's got this really cool kind of leafy pattern along with some garter rib and some texture and whatnot, and it is lovely and warm. I won't wear it right now because I am wearing it. This is my Love You Baby shawl in the Zen Yarn Garden. So I finished this probably just in the last couple months, so you can go back a little bit if you want to see that one. But yes, this is my lowbrow cowl in that Australian Polworth. It should still be chilly tomorrow, so I think I'm going to wear it to work tomorrow and show my boss what I did with it. It was a great knit, like I said, US size 7 needles. There is a chart and written instructions, and it was super easy, and I was pleased that I had guessed approximately the right length on the yarn, because I used up as much of the yarn as I could, and like I said, I was probably 3 or 4 rows short, which is not terrible. So that is that one finished and off the needles, and a treasured skein out of the stash. I have been enjoying using some things up out of my stash this year, and I'm going to work to do more of that. The first was that the poncho that I finished just a couple weeks ago. That kit had been marinating in my stash for a while, so this was another one that I guess I'd had the skein probably about a year, but I decided I wanted to do something. So that is that one. In terms of whips and things you've seen before, I brought back Mom's blanket, because this week I went ahead and I got to 81 squares, so that is 9 by 9, and my goal is 121, so I pretty much just have 2 more sets, 100 squares and then 121. So I did this row along the top, which is this blue, and then this is, you may recognize this is some of the yarn left over from that sweater that I knit for Nanny Swaymo that I had to frog, and this is something that I had in the stash. This is a skein from a friend. This is another skein from a friend. This is a mini from Hugh Loco. And then I had some friends of the show send me some stuff. These squares are from her. I dug into a skein of Yowza that I bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool in 2014. The remainder of the skein is going to be a sweater for Miles, but I added a square last night. And then again across the top, I have started repeating a few of, like the orange is a repeat. I knit Miles a hat out of that. This one is, it's a combination of some yarn that I knit Roxy a hat out of, and then something else because there wasn't quite enough. Stuff from a friend. This one was a mini that I bought from Hugh Loco. This one was stuff from a friend. This one is a repeat. It's the Hedgehog Fibers that was in my fade shawl. The gray was something I had left over, and that'll do it. So most of the ends are woven in except for the squares on the edge. I always wait to do those till last. So as you can see, for the most part, my ends on the back are woven in. And like I said, I am up to 81 squares, and I will be doing another couple rounds, and then we'll just do, I'm going to do an I-cord edging like I did on mine that sits behind me. So I am excited that this one is getting there. The due date, if there is a due date, is June, but I'm hoping I will finish it a little bit sooner than that. So that is another work in progress. I've only been bringing it when I've been completing a set of squares. So I think I'll probably take a picture of this one today because I haven't taken a picture or posted one in a while. And I'm really pleased with the way it's coming out. So yeah, so that is Mom's blanket. So the third project that I am working on is a work in progress. I talked about casting it on last week. I have not been posting about this on social media because it is a gift for a friend at work. And she follows a lot of my social media, so she does not watch the podcast though, so I will show it on here. She is going through some illness, and she had her mother passed away, so I decided that I needed to knit her something. I am knitting her the Silver Leaf Shawl by Lisa Hannis. It's a very pretty garter shawl, and then it has leaf edging detail. And I am using Woolmy's blend in the Meilenstein colorway. I think I showed you this yarn last week. I don't think I had cast on. And I have gotten mostly through, I'm not quite done, but I have gotten through most of the garter section this week. It knit up pretty fast. It's just garters and eyelets. and it was my main project. I did not bring it to work during the week, but I did work on it at home every night and at knit night. So like I said, this is a chunk of the garter section, and then there will be a big kind of leafy, lacy section here, and then one more garter section. I believe I'm going to follow the pattern exactly. She does suggest that you can add more repeats if you want to. I need to weigh my ball of yarn and figure out where I am. She gives you an approximate amount for the edging. I think I probably need to stick with her pattern because I believe she knit her first one using this exact yarn. So that is what I'm working on. Like I said, nothing like crazy exciting, but it has been a soothing knit, and I am enjoying knitting it, and I hope that she will enjoy it. Mylenstein is a very dark, kind of ashy purple, and her favorite color is purple, and I think it will be lovely for her. So that is that third project that I'm working on. I also brought some yarn for a project that I'm going to cast on for this week. This just arrived yesterday, so I've barely even opened it. This is some review yarn that I'm going to just play with. I'm going to knit a baby gift out of it. I have a baby gift to knit for a baby that is arriving in April, and I am going to knit a Milo Vest. I have knit that before. It is by Georgie Nicholson, and the yarn is called Vinnie's Colors Bambi, and it is a DK to light worsted, and it is a 70% cotton slub, 30% bamboo viscose. So it's a nice summery yarn. It is actually from South Africa. The dyer is from South Africa. They have a US distributor, but it said this yarn is hand-dyed and balled by women from an economically depressed rural area of South Africa. The sale of this product has empowered them and brought the economic benefits to their community. Hand-dyed yarn makes your garment a unique marbled effect, color fast. So I have 2 skeins, and I'm going to knit a little Milo Vest for a baby that is due to arrive in April. I need to double check the ball says, let's see what I've got, 88 meters, 96 yards. I have 2 balls, so I just need to double check and see whether I have enough to do. If I have enough, I'll do the 3-month size, otherwise I'll just do the newborn size. And that is just a cute little vest with a cable up the side. Baby is due mid-April, which may not be super, super warm, but I didn't want to do a sweater because it's coming up on summer, and summer here, it's for a Midwestern baby, and summer in the Midwest can be quite warm. So I thought a little vest to go over a onesie might be nice for like in air conditioning and stuff. So that is what I'm doing. The color is indigo, and it's for a little boy. I love dark, dark navy blues and indigos on little, actually both babies of both sexes. Because I just think it's really sweet, even though it is a darker color. So that is what I'm going to work on this week. Hopefully I will have that to show you next week, and I can get that out because baby is due soon. So that is the knits. Since the question that I received is about knitting, we'll go with that. The question in the thread was from Helen, and she asked some questions about Stephen West patterns. She said she has been interested in knitting them, but she hasn't knit them before, and she wondered whether I enjoy knitting them, whether I've liked the patterns of his that I've knit, how difficult I find them. I would say Stephen West patterns are super enjoyable to knit. They are technically edited, so I'm not aware of any mistakes in them. Quite a few of his have been for knit-alongs, so you can see the finished product, and you can see how a lot of people knit them and get some ideas from there. As far as I'm concerned, most of Stephen West's patterns, and I guess not so much in the last couple of years, but particularly in his early years, a lot of his patterns are actually not super complicated. The way he makes them look unique is that he uses crazy color selections together, and he likes to play with shapes, geometric shapes. So nothing that he does, like I said, particularly in his early patterns, is terribly complicated. It's just a little bit innovative the way he puts the pieces together, and then his color selection is the big thing. In some ways that's still the case. I mean, quite a few of his patterns now deal with marled. The concept of he uses mostly color and marling, and the way he marls is he uses multiple strands of yarn held together, and that is not a new concept. It is just something that he is applying to quite a few of his sweaters and shawls. So I would say if you are a little bit beyond a beginning knitter, I would say maybe an intermediate knitter. There is nothing in his shawls that you can't do. They are well written. They are fun. You can do them in less bright colors if you want to. So there's a lot that's up to you that has to do with your color choice. And the other thing I will say is that anytime he uses a non-standard technique, he does his own videos, and his videos are pretty clear and easy to follow, so you should be able to pick up anything you need. So I would say if you are interested in it, go for it. Like I said, a lot of his recent shawls have been knit-alongs, so there will be threads that you can mine if you have questions, where people have probably asked the same questions you have. And he is pretty active on social media and on Ravelry, so if you have questions, I'm sure you can pose them, and he or someone else will be able to help you with them. So thank you for the question, Helen. Just a reminder to anyone who may or may not know, I have an Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group. You are always welcome to leave a question there, and I will answer it on the next podcast. This question actually came in last weekend, like right around the time I was recording the show, and I didn't catch it, so it is in this week's podcast. But like I said, you're always welcome to leave me a question there, and if for some reason you are not on Ravelry, you're welcome to just send me an email. My email is on my website, thecornerofknitandtea.com, and you can always send me anything if you have questions. So let me take a sip of tea, and then we'll go on to spinning and the prize draw. Okay. Spinning for this week. Last week I showed you a beautiful skein, or a beautiful braid from Three Waters Farm that was purples and greens and blues, and I said it was for the Crazy Twisted and Arbitrary Spin Along. It was a braid of Rambouillet, and it was called Magic Carpet. Quilter's Magic. Magic Carpet. It's called Quilter's Magic, and it was based on a quilt photo. Or possibly a quilt. I can't remember. I didn't go back and look. And I have finished it, and it is stunning. It is blues and purples and greens and violets, and it is just gorgeous. I don't think the camera is going to do it justice. I spun it in my usual 2-ply barber pole, and there were sections where the colors met and sections where they intermingled. So you'll get some barber poling and some straight color on here. I do not know exactly how much I got. I'm going to say probably around 350 yards. It is still wet, and Rambo tends to puff up, so I am hesitant to take measurements until it is really fully dry. My guess is this will go up in the shop tomorrow evening or Tuesday, because I'm going to give it one more day to let it dry. It was a 3.8 ounce, 108 gram skein, and like I said, I'm guessing 350 yards, which will probably put it in the Sport to DK range, and it will go up in the shop. So I don't know that the camera will do it justice, but the colors in this are just amazing. I will try and get my digital SLR to do some justice to the colors, but they are just absolutely gorgeous. So this one will go up in the shop. If these colors are your cup of tea, be sure to check it out. Next up on the wheel, I am loosely following along with my friend Anne of the Willy Wonka Fibers podcast and Willy Wonka Fibers. I am loosely following along with her group. She is doing a year-long Willy Wonka along, and each month she picks a color and some kind of technique or a type of pattern. So for instance, last month it was cowls and the color pink. For green, it is the color green and I don't remember what. That was bad. I don't remember what it is, but you can join her group and see all about it. Like I said, she posts a thread for each month. I decided to spin something green for March, and also this is fiber that I bought at Ply-Away last year. And Ply-Away is coming up again. It will be the last weekend in March, and so I thought it would be nice to spin something that I had bought last year before I go back and buy more this year. So this is Falkland from Essential Fiber, and it is blue spruce dark, and it is 6 ounces. And I think I'll probably throw this one up in the shop just as a thought. I thought these two together would be amazing. This is kind of a wintergreen. It's a green and a blue kind of in the same. And the deal with Essential Fibers, it was an amazing booth. It was a Plyaway, and she does solids and semi-solids in like every color and about 10 or 20 different fibers, and you can just buy it by the ounce, so you can do your own gradient projects as much as you wish. This color just stole my heart. I just don't even know that it's doing it justice on there. It is light green and dark green, and then really like some blue spruce color, and it is just gorgeous. So this is what I'm going to spin this week. It is 6 ounces, so I hope I will have it done next weekend, but we'll have to see. But that will be my entry for the Willy Wonka Fibers along this month, and also get some Plyaway stuff out of my stash, so when I go this year and buy new things, as I probably will, I will have a good time and be able to do it somewhat guilt-free. So, not that you have to spin up everything between one year and the next, but, you know, I think it makes me feel good. So, don't ask me about all the other stuff that I bought there, because there's a bunch of stuff I bought there that I have not spun up. So, let's get to the drawing. Like I said last week, I was going to do a drawing for this beautiful bag of little, it almost looks like little bunting, little triangles from Knit and Stitch Bits on Etsy. She was so kind to send this to us, and I asked for people to leave comments on the YouTube video, and we had, I believe, either 23 or 26 comments. I already went ahead and ran it, and the winner is A. Smith. That is what your YouTube name says, and she said that it would be the perfect bag for a shawl, and she would always know where her shawl was. So A. Smith, please contact me. You can either DM me on Ravelry, send me your address so I can get this bag out to you, and I will add some tea and other goodies. And or you can email me at let me think about this, ldwcameron@gmail.com. So, and that is also on my website. So congratulations, A. Smith. This one is yours. Give me your information and I will get that out to you this week. So I think that's it. I hope you have had a lovely week and weekend, and that you have a wonderful week ahead. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me, and I will say until I see you again, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.